Hello, my name is Charles Blaylock, and I'm here to talk about Marilyn Sapp. I understand she's retiring, and I want her and everybody to know it was a pleasure and quite an enjoyable experience working and sharing the work site with her. She was very productive, and now she'll get a chance to take naps without anybody catching her or waking her up. But again, seriously, it was a pleasure to share the work site with her for the years that I was able to do that. And as she prepares for a new life, a retirement, I'd like to offer some advice. I'd like for her to take some time to relax and enjoy the ride. We don't know how long or how short this ride is going to be, but enjoy it. Try some new things. You'll have time to try new things, and you can imagine and be constructive and draw up different possibilities. And to remind yourself to play and to expect adventures that are quite new and enjoyable, and to make new plans, and to entertain a few wild ideas. Not that this is new. I think she's had a lot of wild ideas in the past, but take time to draw up in some new ideas. And to remember that there's no alarm clock anymore, so you don't have to wake up and you don't have to worry about what time of day you take your naps. So enjoy it, and take time to relax and do things for you. And remember that other people who are not retired will be asking you to do things for them. You must always remind them that I'm retired. Again, it was a pleasure to have shared the work site with you. Thank you.
Been asked to say a few things about Marilyn Sapp. And where do you begin? First, let me begin by saying that when I first come to know Marilyn, she was not Marilyn Sapp, she was Marilyn Olive. We were high school classmates. I graduated in 1968. Marilyn graduated in 1969. So I remember her from high school. I remember friendship way back then. We've been friends, like I say, since high school. Then when I was elected to Suwannee County School Board in 1996, Marilyn was was secretary to the superintendent and school board. And Marilyn was one of those, for me as a new board member, she was a go-to person because of her institutional knowledge of the system, how the system worked, about policy, about procedure, about everything to do with the school system. As I said, her breadth of knowledge and her depth of knowledge was something to be sought out for myself as a board member. And I went to her on many occasions, and she helped me with understanding how policy and policy adoption and board proceedings, and familiarizing myself with the policy manual, all those things. And she's always was always, like I say, a source of knowledge and help. One of the things I remember vividly about Marilyn is always going in her office, and when you looked at Marilyn's desk, you would think that maybe some minor explosion, some kind of a chaotic event had happened there. But I never went in to ask Marilyn for any kind of a paper, a document, anything, that in just a few seconds she could lay her hands on it. And out of all that seemingly, to me, seemed to be confusion, Marilyn knew exactly what she was looking for, where it was located, and could locate it, almost instantly. And but that was just Marilyn. And Marilyn was she was very capable of multitasking. And as I say, for me as a new board member, she definitely was a tremendous help, something that I will always remember and always appreciate. So Marilyn, I just want to tell you that on behalf of myself and past and present boards, and any success that I have as a board member, you're definitely a part of that, have been a part of that, and I appreciate your friendship, appreciate your professionalism, and appreciate all that you've done for Suwannee County Schools and for the Suwannee County School Board. Thank you.
Miss Lilla, if you're watching this, and I'm watching it with you, I hope so. Otherwise, I hope I'm not down there at the Udell establishment, down in the parlor, waiting on Mr. Udell to, never mind, I won't say that. Lilla Udell, I think you've got one of the coolest last names that anybody could ever have, or you had at one time, now a maiden name. The good name of good game. What could be better than that? And I'm always inspired by the story that you tell and that you share of a district recruiter from Suwannee County Schools going out to the great state of Alabama and being successful to recruit yourself as well as 5 other African American teachers to come to Suwannee County to serve. And what a blessing and what a great day that was for Suwannee County to have that happen. For you to leave this sweet home Alabama and leave your home and come over and share with our students and help build them and their character, and thank you for that. Again, bringing your good name, the good game, and of course ultimately meeting that Udell fella. And I think if I'd have had a name like Good Game, I don't believe I'd have took Udell. I believe I'd have made him take my name. But anyway, that's between you and him. But I remember my grandmother always talking about the power of and the blessing of a good family name, and I think that you've lived up in your life and your career, exemplify and personify that. Even though you did marry Udell, because we'd always hear him keeping the county commissioner stirred up, and we'd always hear about Udell. And when I first started hearing about you, Mrs. Udell, the former Mrs. Good Game, you had the tendency to discipline and send some of the teachers' kids home. You had a reputation for being a tough disciplinarian out there, but I appreciate that. Some of these teachers in the school system maybe didn't appreciate as much, but even though they know their bad children needed Mrs. Udell to help correct some of that behavior. But really and truly, in all sincerity, as I got to know you professionally over the years, had the opportunity to attend the Udell family reunion and have some trotters with Ivan Udell and with Douglas, and even have some hot fish at your house. And certainly some of the blessings. Really got to appreciate to know you, the woman, the community leader that you were, the champion for what I'll call for champion for justice. And you, as well as Mr. Douglas, for what you have meant, both of you and your family have meant to this community. And I just thank you, and I give thanks to God for you all, you for coming to Suwannee County with your good name, good game. Certainly I'm going to miss hearing the stories that you'd always tell about William, Douglas, Catherine, and those children. And certainly going to miss Mama Jenkins' collard greens. And if you get a chance to cook some of those, we'd love to partake and help you with that. Going to miss your days of coaching up, those conversations that you'd have, because you remember we had a thin wall between HR and your office, and some of your conversations that you would have there with Miss Sapp in the back, they always serve as a lesson of coaching and inspiration for me. Certainly, just like after a football game or a good, well-fought tennis match or anything like that, just look at you and say, good game, great career, God bless you, we love you.
Gosh, whenever I think of Miss Udell and remember back, I cannot remember not knowing Miss Udell. I remember when Kim and I first married, Kim was teaching PE at Suwannee Elementary West, and she would come home talking about Miss Good Game and how much the children loved her and what an advocate she was for children and how firm she was with the children, but how fair she was. And then I come to realize that she too became Miss Udale shortly thereafter. And then as time evolved and Miss Udale went into administration, by me being in administration, I had the opportunity to work with her in various capacities. And I too saw and experienced that passion she had for students and how she would work in students' behalf to make sure that their needs were met and they had the resources that they needed. And then as time evolved and time went on, I was able to work with Miss Udale in a closer arena, and she had that same passion for employees, for teachers, co-workers, and everyone with whom she worked. So as Miss Udale is entering retirement, we wish her the very best as she spends quality time with her family and her friends and children and grandchildren, and helping Commissioner Udale with the funeral home. We know that she'll be a tremendous asset as she enjoys her retirement years. So we wish you the very best and say to you to enjoy every moment of your retirement.